We are going to talk about a project that we recently completed that I absolutely loved. And this is for one of our favorite clients, Helmerich Payne.
So they needed a service awards video, which their service awards, they happen every year. And they just really wanted it to be about grit and strength.
When we were on set, there was parts of me that were slightly annoyed at you because I was like, why is Jess following me around with a shot list?
If you love like candid action, hardworking shots, like H&P on an oil rig is like a photographer's paradise.
Founded in 1999 by Jason Burks, Retrospec Films is Oklahoma's largest turnkey production company of its kind. With a full-time team of over 20 talented individuals, a 12,000 square foot studio to create in, and a resume that spans some of the world's largest brands, if you love learning about filmmaking and storytelling, you've come to the right place. On each episode, we discuss the pursuit of creating things and the problems we solve by digging up projects from the last 20 years. Giving you a glimpse behind the scenes where the magic happens. You're listening to Retrospec Films from the archives.
Hello, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us on Retrospec from the Archives. This is our in-house podcast where we dig up projects from the past and talk about all the things that we do to create them, from writing, creative, producing, pre-pro, shooting, traveling, all the different things. So joining me today is Jessica, client manager and producer.
Hello.
And Josh Garber, photographer, gaffer,
Hey.
grip, studio manager, lots of things.
Snowboarder.
Snowboarder. That's how we function
Avid
around
sleeper.
here.
Yep.
Avid sleeper. We did catch him sleeping one time in the night, and I was like, you know that we're 24/7.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
24/7.
Yeah, gotta wake up.
So today we are going to talk about a project that we recently completed that I absolutely loved. It's probably my fault that we're doing this because I was like, we should do one over that project. And this is for one of our favorite clients, Helmerich Payne. If you don't know Helmerich Payne, they are a drilling company that is here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think they're over 100 years old.
They are.
I think, because
Yep.
2020 was their 100-year anniversary. So let's just start. We're going to walk through this project, and I think it would be good to take a look at the project so you can understand what it is. It's essentially, I think it's what's called the service awards. So something that they used internally. So let's go ahead and fire that off and take a look at that video real quick.
We are not who we once were. We don't fear change. We don't fear the unknown, the hard days or the high stakes. We show up and get it done. For our families, for our customers, for the future. We are one team on one journey. We are H&P, and this is what grit looks like. Grit looks like hands that don't quit, toughened by the grind, ready for more. Muddy boots after a 12-hour shift, proof of the drive to keep going when others might stop. It's the deep breath in when challenges arise and the steady breath out when you've pushed through. It isn't just working hard, it's working hard over and over again. This is what grit looks like. Grit earns trust, and trust builds unrivaled partnerships across our industry. Every well drilled with unmatched performance, every tough call made with confidence and ease. Grit is our collective effort. It's the teamwork that keeps us turning to the right. It's the people who actively care for each other. Grit guides how we work, how we lead, how we bring everyone home safely. It's our traditions turned into unrelenting progress. The courage of the pioneers and trailblazers who led the way. It's the service attitude you carry with you. You can't lead an industry without grit. You can't do the right thing without it either. They said we wouldn't last. But after 240 years of combined experience, here we are, driven by an unshakable, innovative spirit, because that's what grit looks like. It's not about slogans or logos, it's about people, the people who show up day after day. It's about you. You are the force behind the rigs, behind the journey, behind the name. You are H&P. We are H&P. the global drilling solutions company. And this is what grit looks like.
Okay, so lots of cool shots, lots of cool locations, lots of sunrises, all that jazz. Let's start a little bit with you, Jessica, because obviously you work with the client the most. They tell you what they need, and then you try to like put it on paper, stick it in a calendar, and force us to do it. So talk about the beginning of this project. What did H&P need?
So they needed a service awards video, which their service awards, they happen every year. And normally they happen in September, but they pushed it to February, which was kind of unique because it's always in September. So we had a little bit more time to kind of dial and get everything ready for them. But they said we really want it to be like H&P Heroes, which is another video that we did. That's really amazing. So we had that to go off of. And they just really wanted it to be about grit and strength and really showcase not so much, the office and the corporate part of it, but really what happens on the rig, what the workers go through every single day. So that was something that we dialed in creative, and Taylor wrote a beautiful script. But yeah, so that was kind of the ask, and I think we delivered that.
I'm curious, just to pick a little bit more, we have filmed so much for H&P over the years. I mean, all over the planet, offshore rigs, Louisiana, Texas.
Yep,
Utah, New Mexico, Oklahoma, just all over Pennsylvania. And while that's awesome, because it gives us a great library, sometimes it can also make you, I wouldn't say less creative, but it's easy to walk into the shoot and be like, yeah, I know what we're shooting. We're shooting what we always shoot, right? And I felt like this one was unique. I mean, I was directing, but it was the same crew. It was me and Jacob and Josh, and I think Mark was with us. And I think, was Joel with us on one of them? Joel was not. But we've all been all over the place with H&P. And even for me, I can snap into autopilot. Like, I feel like I work on a rig. I know rigs very well, up and down. I'm just like, let's go get the cool stuff. This one felt different to me because I felt like you guys were being way more specific on the planning side and on the shot list and all that stuff. Talk a little bit about that, because, I mean, you took a lot of charge in that regard.
So we wanted to make sure that what the client wanted, they got. So rather than just saying, hey guys, here's a shot, get something that kind of shows grit. We had the shot list very dialed. So it wasn't just, show something grit. It was watch a oil rig worker breathe in and kind of take in that moment. So there was more direction for the people who work on the rig versus just, from you. You weren't just like, okay, just do your normal job and we'll get whatever you do. So there was a lot of descriptive writing in that. And I think it was done really, really well, because then we took it on the rig and we were able to execute it tremendously well. At other shots, I'm trying to remember, because, after I produced
you
something.
had a big long list and you were following us around and checking them off. I will say the one that you brought up about the breathing in, that one stands out to me.
Yeah.
And, I would say that, not to jump through the whole project so quick, but what I really loved about this project was that there was a plan and we did the plan. And then the plan happened in post-production.
Yes.
Because that is something that I will say everyone that has ever worked for me knows I historically get very frustrated about, when it's like, we had a script. We shot the script. And then the editor went rogue.
Right.
And so it was really nice, like every little beat. And I think when you get to like higher levels of film production, you really are trying to have less accidents. Like, great things don't sometimes, I mean, yes, sometimes accidentally greatness occurs. I've been a part of it many times, but it's not a great thing to lean upon. Like, really, if you can create and control greatness, that's what you do at a high level. And I think that's kind of where we are. I felt like that was probably what stood out the most to me, because have we accidentally created videos that hit all the notes and the nerves as good as that one before? Sure. But what was great about that, it was like high intention. And in some ways, like, you know, just being honest, when we were on set, there was parts of me that were slightly annoyed at you because I was like, why is Jess following me around with a shot list? Like, she knows that I know the oil rig probably better than half the people working here. But
You did.
But it was nice because each time because I think you actually had written down the line in the script, and then you wrote the shot
action.
beside it. Yeah, the action beside it. And it made sense to me. And I was like, I had to like pause and be like, no, she's right. Those do line up really good. Let's go ahead and get that shot. And even when and you know I love you, but even you coming on that shoot, I was like, why is Jess coming on the shoot? Like, we're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, Jessica doesn't.
Cold.
Like, Jess doesn't need to be here. We're all gonna freeze. She's just gonna be standing around bored.
But Grace wanted me there too. She
Yeah.
was like, will you be there? And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I'll make things happen.
She did.
Yeah,
She
and
did.
so that was something I appreciated. So,
Yeah.
well, Josh, I want to throw it to you. I'd like to first give some of your feelings because I think you've been on almost every H&P shoot that we've done, and with me, and that's all the way from flying in a helicopter across the ocean for 2 hours to being out in Utah on a thermal rig to being covered in mud in Louisiana and thinking we're gonna
Yep.
get murdered in the in the forest.
Yeah, right. Oh, my
So,
goodness.
tell me a little bit of your perspective just on working on a rig with expensive camera gear and how we mobilize, move efficiently, create high quality imagery, but in an environment that's like definitely not conducive to that.
Yeah, you really have to be on your A game. As far as gear goes, you want to be as minimal as possible so you're not lugging a crap ton of stuff around the rig constantly to try and, you know, utilize everything. But you need everything that how should I say this? You need all the things to shoot the things correctly.
Right.
So it's having all the right gear, but how do you do that in a small package, which we've dialed in over the years. I'd say last year we really got it dialed in.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, I'd say the difference with this shoot compared to other ones is we typically bring like a slider along with us. We're bringing lights. This shoot was a little more intentional, obviously. So everything was handheld. I think we had a Ronin with us as well. But then it was just, what lenses are we shooting on? And like, that was really it. We stayed very, very minimal. I don't think we had more than a backpack carried around with us with extra gear in it, and cameras. And then, yeah, it's just when you're on that floor, it's messy. And so you've got to be sure that you're not getting in their way. You're not getting oil all over the lenses, all over the cameras, getting back into the cabin to check your gear and make sure that it's all still functional and not dirty and gonna hinder the shoot in any way. It's a lot of juggling, but we're very, I'd say, not only on H&P, just shoots in general, we're very intentional about keeping our gear clean and functional, so that helps kind of roll into those kinds of shoots as well. So
Talk to me a little bit about, and you started to go there, but there's this funny balance of like, if we don't have the tools we need, we can't capture the magnificent images we were hired to capture. If we have too much gear, we also can't capture because we actually spend the whole time jacking around with equipment. You know, where does your brain go when you're looking for that sweet spot? Because I feel like we deal with it on a weekly basis.
yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just kind of, we've got it down to like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in some parts, I guess you could say we have a lot of experience.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of comes naturally now with how often we do it, that it's just like second nature now to pack it out in certain ways. Again, with those H&P shoots, we're not bringing a lot of stuff. When we leave the studio, we've got everything that we need, and we're thinking about that ahead of time, how much stuff we can carry around on the rig. Because, I mean, Jess has a job. you've got a camera in your hand. I think it was just 4 of us, right? So it was you, me, Mark, and Jess.
Okay.
And so with that,
Jacob was hunting.
yeah,
Sorry.
Jacob was out hunting. So with that, you know,
That's all he did last year.
you and Mark were primarily shooting, and so then at that point it's like I've got to handle gear, but how much gear can one person like walk around with on a rig at that, because you're walking through tight spaces and stuff when you're actually on the rig.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when we got out of the truck, I think we were like, this is what we need.
Right.
And we may have brought a couple extra things out, and then I probably brought some things back to the car because we were like, we're not going to use this for now. And if we need to, then I can run down and grab it. But that's kind of it.
And one thing I think is unique about these shoots too is like, which I know, I mean, certainly we have bigger shoots where we have extreme amounts of hierarchy when it comes to like, you know, maybe I'm directing and you're helping with the lighting and, you know, maybe there is a second camera. But the H&P ones I think are kind of unique in that it's more like we pull out the tools and we're just all kind of like handing them off.
Yeah.
Like we haven't forced Jessica to shoot yet. I'm sure she probably has picked up a camera.
Oh,
She
I
definitely
have.
has.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's actually I usually have to like swat you away, like stop that.
No.
Jessica.
For Tallahassee, I shot some stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that was planned.
And
You were
it-
my second camera.
Yeah, and it
That's
got
right.
used.
That's right, it did. But I think I enjoy. You know, I was a very terrible wedding videographer for like 2 years when I was like 17. I know there's a lot of people here who have done it and done it successfully. I did not. I was like the worst. But it's funny when you watch like event photographers or wedding photographers with like multiple cameras, like just like bam, 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 and like hand it to their assistant and like bam, 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 you know? And I've always watched those people and kind of been impressed because I'm a high action guy. Like I like working hard. I like being covered in sweat and just doing stuff. And I do think like there's sort of a urgency in the H&P shoots like that, where it's like, Josh, gimbal, go.
Yeah.
And you're like, handheld, go. And it's like, move, there's a piece of drill pipe coming through. Like, get out of their way.
Yeah.
And I felt that way, you know, even when we did the offshore one, like that was just like, I was enamored the whole time. Like the whole time we were there, like even when it was time to go to bed, I was like out on the deck, like taking pictures of the ocean. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, you know? So
yeah, it's a unique spot to be in for sure.
touch some of the, since I don't feel like we've dug into it hard, but you've done a lot of photography for H&P as well, which follows some of the same guidelines. I mean, we're in this kind of documentary editorial space where it's like these guys are working, they're being paid millions of dollars to drill these holes successfully. So it's not like we're like, cut, stop the drill, you know? Like, but at the same time, we do want what we want. Yeah. And I know, like, even on this last one, there was times where the guys were swinging drill pipe and I would go over in between stacks and I was like, hey, this next time when you catch the pipe, set it down, look at the camera and give me like a little head nod. And it actually occurred. But back to the photography, talk to me just a little bit about that, because I feel like even artistically, there's been some depth things that you've done well, which you constantly do well, which is why I love your photography. But you find things to shoot through, and heck, I mean, what better place to shoot through things than a rig?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If you love like candid action, hardworking shots, like H&P on an oil rig is like a photographer's paradise. Yeah. And just roaming around, there's just so much stuff to shoot through. There's every different rig that we've been to has an incredible backdrop to it. You know, they all bring different environments. And then just the people, like you don't have to tell them to do anything, because you just are capturing them doing their work, and it all looks great for the most part. But I love shooting through stuff, having things in the foreground, and there's just so many little nooks and crannies on the rig, on the floor, that you can get into and shoot through and find really cool angles. So
I love that. Yeah.
Well,
Jess, bring us home. So we went into post-production, and it's funny. I think I was in Colorado. It was right after we did the Brahms holiday spot this last year when the first proof showed up. And, you know, obviously when I'm creative directing and edit, which is what I was doing on the Brahms one, I try to be in a good mood, but I'm always like, I feel like this like tyrant, creative, unhappy dictator. Even when I like it, I'm like, why is it what I like?
But why is it good?
Why is it good? So it was funny. I remember in between things, of course, I was balancing Taylor and all of her opinions, everybody and all their opinions. And so it just is what it is. Comes with the job. But I remember watching that first proof from Kyle, who I think Kyle was the editor on this. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is so good. And I know I guess it's done now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been like kind of tweaking it.
I delivered the final Friday.
Oh, there you go. Because we had a little extra time. But talk to me about the post-production from your perspective, because sometimes, like, granted, sometimes like I or others that are in charge of creative may get heavily involved and giving, and sometimes they don't, right? Like H&P would be one that I would say it might be common for you to actually function like creative director, because it's like, we did the thing, it got edited, now you're watching it and going, fix this, and this.
Right.
So what was your perspective on the first edit and then bringing it through completion? I don't think I've really chimed much back in, because I watched the first couple and I was like, that is freaking gold. So I just left it alone at that point. But tell me your perspective.
Well, it was really neat to kind of be on set and, be functioning like a producer and a client manager at the same time, because producer Jessica says different things and client manager Jessica says different things. I'm talking to Grace and I'm like, oh, wait, we can't shoot that. Or, and then producer Jessica's like, look at the time. But so in post, it was nice to remember those things that happened on set and kind of see through the creative process, like you were saying, like, oh, wait, we can't show that guy, or let's actually put this guy, because I remembered what we shot on set. So it was really, really nice to work through that with Kyle. And he always does a great job. He always edits all of the H&P stuff.
Yeah.
He's always worked with them.
He knows it. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows all of the shots that we've ever shot, which is amazing. But so we had a voiceover artist record VO for it, and he did a great job. The client saw it and they were like, we want an employee, to really say the VO, because it's showing grit from our employees. So we brought in a gentleman from the FMC, and so he tracked it, and right in here, actually, and he did a really, really great job. And it was just awesome to see the client light up when they heard his voice in it, because it added a true layer to it, But in the post-production side, it was so easy. Grace and Carrie, they knew what they wanted. They would pick out things. And I think throughout the whole process, they had maybe 10 comments, throughout all the proofs, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
They're an amazing client to work with. I really, really.
And when's everyone going to get to see this thing?
So they have their service awards in 2 weeks.
Oh, man. So we may have to sneak into wherever that is.
I know.
Stand in the back.
I think it's in Tulsa, so.
Oh, maybe we will.
We'll be like, hello.
That's awesome. Well, awesome. Well, that concludes this episode of From the Archives. Hope you guys enjoyed chatting and learning a little bit about this project that we did that we're so stoked about. And if there's any other episodes you want to watch, I don't even know anymore. I think we had almost 50 in our season 1. They're online, and then we probably have done, I don't know, 10 20, something like that in season 2. So wherever you get your podcast, check it out. We got them all on our website as well. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.